wouldn't you want to be at this conference? I mean, look at it. You've got Golden Gate Bridge, you've got amazing people convening, acting, talking, but actually doing something. And that's what this is about, is doing something, not just talking about it. So we've got action tanks rather than just think tanks.
The aspiration of taking a beautiful place, an inspiring view, incredible location, and blending it with big ideas that need to be solved, that's a worthy project.
What science does when things are complex is it looks for preponderance of evidence. You cannot ignore a component of the problem that has competing explanations, like how many meters of sea level rise, because it's so consequential just because we don't have yet an established theory.
Every year America spends $1 trillion throwing things away, just getting rid of it.
The government created a mono-economy in southern West Virginia and eastern Kentucky so that they took away people's choices, so that a man had to blast and poison his own neighbor in order to feed his kids. How is that right?
When we take on the challenges of poverty and the environment at the same time, because they are like this, we uncover the keys to way more powerful solutions.
In West Oakland, it's easier for me to go out and buy a gun or alcohol than it is to get an organic tomato. We need to engage people. We need to create real and genuine, authentic relationships that don't just expect people to come to you, but you to come to us.
And when I grow up, my generation is going to have to deal with what's already been done to the planet. And the difficulty of that job fully depends on what actions we take now.
This is not a joke. This is not a game. It is a system that we must change, because Earth is a woman fed up. And quick as a whiplash, she will remind us exactly who is in charge.
Collaboration is essential, primarily because nobody has the money or the time or the resources to do this all on their own.
We're all doing our own work and pouring an enormous amount of energy into that work, but there's not enough collaboration, there's not enough interconnectedness. So to have this forum where we can all talk amongst ourselves and realize that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, that we can piggyback on each other's work and create a much larger movement.
It's essential that we come together to connect and collaborate for more significant impact on a larger scale.
It's not just about food. This is about entertainment. This is about architecture. This is about parks. This is about how people live their lives.
What we need to mine for, in addition to the technologies, are behaviors that we can see in other places, and how those behaviors are transmitted to other people.
If that cat could go out and plant a rainforest on degraded agricultural soil and make 20,000 acres of trees, it's astounding.
So long as you point the parabola directly at the sun, all the energy will be concentrated on the center. We can basically give this cooker away to people in India or throughout the world, in Africa, so that they don't have to cut wood and burn it for their cooking. Because right now they cut about 1.5 billion tons of wood worldwide just for cooking alone. And that's about 10% of all the CO2 emissions worldwide.
I heard a lot of things that just really drove me crazy. Like the guy said he went door to door in India to cure smallpox. I was just really blown away by who I was around.
The only way out of this is total change in human consciousness, to create a world in which every single person loves life more than death. There is no alternative.
It's spring. If you want to see organisms who care more about life than about death, go out and watch them strutting and breathing their hearts out right now, because it's all about the continuity of life.
You're walking around, you're just like, oh my God, there's my hero. I mean, I just bumped into Janine Benyus yesterday, who I'm absolutely obsessed by. I was standing there, I was like, can I just say you're amazing? And
the way David Kennedy presented the idea of the planet being a place that we have to cherish and think that every place on Earth is the best place on Earth, that really spoke to me. I think there's great value in looking at the planet as a whole.
I think we need to collapse the distinction between the best places and all other places. We need to begin treating the world in its entirety as a kind of national park, a place where people toil and live as well as worship, a place where we frankly recognize the character and demands of our post-industrial civilization and seek not merely to escape from it or repudiate out of hands the benefits it has conferred on all of us.
I like the idea of focusing on using the National Park Service as an opportunity to serve healthy food in all the national parks, maybe even to grow healthy foods in the parks, that use that as a way of educating kids in particular about where food comes from and what a powerful difference it can make in their lives.
It's cheaper to save fuel than to buy fuel. Efficiency is cheaper than fuel. So climate protection is not costly but profitable. Of course, when you change the conversation to jobs, profits, and competitive advantage, the politics get much easier and resistance melts faster than the glaciers.
How do we make democracy come alive? Come alive at the local level. People get to be activists and they start working at the national level and the state level. They ignore the local level, county, city, planning commission, and that's really the basis of democracy.
I think the best policies happen when people that they're going to impact are involved in passing them. You got to invite people to the table. That's part of our goal as leaders and as social justice activists. It's like, how do we make sure that it is really changing the paradigm of power?
Ultimately, people want self-determination. People want the opportunity to define their own destiny, and they're not really looking for a handout.
How are we having real youth involvement in this? You know, not just from, the product stages, but from the planning stages. I heard the business group talk about $80 billion. How many young people have ever sat at a table where people are discussing how to use $80 billion? That's what I'm talking about.
Now is also the time for youth to be leading the change. We are the ones who are going to be affected most by all of this. So we need to be the ones standing up and leading the movement.
You are the one that you've been waiting for. No one else can do what you do. Everyone has a place in a movement.
We have to get up on the mountaintop and actually look out and see what the promised land could be. And when you're there, recognize that it is not white or black or red or brown or yellow. The promised land is only green.